What's up? It's Britton.
And Cody, and we're from Wage War, and you're watching Heavy New York.
Heavy New York!
What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the Gramercy Theater, and we got round 2 with Wage War. Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to see you again since Sonic Temple, and I sadly had to miss your set at that time, so it's great to catch you now tonight.
Yeah, tonight will be so much fun. We're fired up about tonight.
Yeah, sold out show. It's going to be killer.
Very
Let's go.
fun.
Let's go.
Yeah, so the last time I spoke with you guys, you didn't even announce the title, which is Pressure, of the newest record.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's out, what I was curious is Pressure conceptually just a direct follow-up to Deadweight, or do you think that this record is more or less kind of like a standout in your catalog?
I would say that it's kind of its own thing. Deadweight was like, it wasn't a concept record, but it did kind of float around one main theme of just kind of like, there's like kind of like a relationship theme throughout it, and then it was just kind of like a self-bettering and just like getting through the things that or like shedding the things in your life that like are not good for you. And Pressure just kind of takes on a whole new thing of just like what we felt like going into this record, because there's just like, not that anybody was like, you have to make a great record, but I think it was like self-implied, like, it's your third record, and I think growing up, most of my favorite bands, like their third record was like the record. You know what I mean? It's exactly. It was just like you made it, or you fell away, and so we felt that, and we decided to just kind of run with that, and that's kind of what we landed on. So,
is that where the name Pressure came from?
Not well. I guess kind of, but I think most of the songs like have a certain theme. I think every song talks about something different, and it's kind of like, the hardships and different things that go on in your life that creates pressure. Around, like mental health or relationships or anything like that. So I think it's just like everything coming at you at all angles is kind of how I take it.
Interesting. Was there like a preconceived idea on this concept or even the sound of what you wanted Pressure to sound like, or was there a lot of improvising involved within like the music and the subject matter?
I think it was one of the first times we ever like all got together in a place like and just stayed there for a month, and so we got to just write off the wall stuff that usually that we wouldn't write. So I think I'm just getting together and be able to like jam stuff out. We came out with some way different songs on this record.
Yeah, it's I think musically that we knew that we needed to do something different, because I think our first 2 records are pretty close to each other. And that's not to say that like we wanted to abandon that, but we wanted to expound upon that, because those songs are still on the record. But to be able to do something that is like a whole new thing for our band. So yeah, we went in knowing that we were going to make something that was going to be different than both Deadweight and Blueprints. And I think in some way, Deadweight progressed Blueprints. And I think that Pressure does the same thing for Deadweight, where we have the songs that are in that catalog, but we also have all this new stuff that we are really excited about and worked really hard on.
Interesting. One question I have specifically for you is that, do you need to hear music in order to come up with lyrics, or does sometimes like a concept help determine the outcome of the music themselves, and maybe you would like write over that?
I feel like usually the song kind of gets written down, and then just kind of like what's kind of the vibe, the feel? Is this like an angry feel, or is this more like a vibe? So I think that has a lot to do with it. Cody likes to write a lot of the lyrics too. He usually has the backbone of the song done. So it's cool coming together with everyone for Pressure, and like, oh, I think this could be cool here, and that, like, stuff like that. Or like Chris had some really good ideas for Will We Ever Learn? So it's cool to someone back there, but
Chris.
Anyway, yeah, I think it was really cool that we all could like come together and write lyrics.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, being a guitarist, what I find unique is because, especially like focusing, I feel like the music is very rhythmic based. So do you write your guitar like over the drums first, and then like that it helps when you have like a beat to revolve around, or do you revolve it around a melody? Is there like a theoretical element, like working off of a certain scale or chord progression that you have to work with?
I think it's very much a song by song basis. A lot of times it does start off with like a riff, and then like, because I write a lot on my computer, so I'll just like jam out a riff, put drums over it, and then I'll just be like, okay, this is a vibe. Or it's like I have a rhythmic idea, like you said, just like a pattern or something, and or I mean, like literally every single song starts differently. But I'd say 4 out of 10 times it's the riff. first. Yeah.
Very riff driven. I've always thought like it had almost in a way kind of like an apples and oranges scenario, but when I was hearing the riffs for Pressure, it almost kind of had like a Fear Factory vibe to it in a way, like more melodic. But
Yeah. We really wanted to capitalize on riffs on this record. We've always had riffs, but we wanted to make the riffs on this record like really stand out and just like something that you hear and just almost sounds like a signature sound kind of thing.
this may be a question for both of you, but like, when you're going from like a very aggressive vocal style to a more melodic vocal style, do the instrumentals kind of have to like adjust to that in a way?
Yeah, we pretty much always try to never throw something in a song that doesn't need to be there. So for instance, we have this song called Stitch, and like I was writing Stitch and I was just like, there's no reason for me to be a part of this song. So we didn't. And then, for a song like Prison or like Who I Am, where it's just kind of like the both of them that are, like there's the melodic and then there's the aggressive part of it. And then we kind of added this whole new element. We added this whole new element to our band with Britton on this record because he started singing a lot more, and he's got such a cool voice that I don't have. I just have this very like melodic, like high voice, and Britton's got this cool like rock voice. So we kind of had this new transition piece of like, okay, cool. So we can start off really aggressive here. We can bring it to still aggressive, but more like pitched, melodic, like aggressive vocals, and then boom, like I can come in and do my thing. So we definitely always try to make things smooth and never just feel like, all right, cool, breakdown, chorus. Like it's never like that. It's like, what does the song call for?
Yeah. Now, being that this is going to be my first time seeing Wage War tonight, and what I'm curious is, because I feel like your music is very energetic, do you channel a similar energy on stage as when you're in like a rehearsal space or in the studio, or is it a completely separate mind frame altogether?
Yeah, I think it's definitely separate. There's nothing like live music, feeding off the crowd. I feel like in the studio, it's more of working on the songs, just kind of getting deep into them. It's like, oh, what could this do live, I feel like that was a really big part of the record too, is writing stuff that would go over well live when we play them. So yeah, and then so once we get up there, those big parts were like big chants and stuff. It's really cool to go from like writing that to performing it, I think it's a cool feeling in both ways of seeing like, oh, I think this could be cool, and then when it goes down, you're like, oh yeah, So
now, when it comes to songwriting, does inspiration like come out of nowhere in a way, like happen spontaneously, or do you need to put yourself in a certain element or get in a certain mood in order to get into songwriting mode?
I think it goes both ways. Again, it's just song by song basis. Like there's a song on this record that we went to a show. We normally work from 10 to 7 every day, but we all, including our producer Drew Falk, went to a show and came back, and we were just so inspired that we literally wrote a song in an hour at like 2 a.m. And it ended up being one of my favorite songs on the record. So that was like just kind of inspiration out of nowhere. A lot of times it's like lyrical inspiration of just like, I want this song, I'm going through this, so I write this down. Or dude, it's just it's all song by song basis.
I can't say any better. So, the cool thing about like songwriting is there's no like perfect way to do it. There's no set formula. I mean, some people do have like a way they do it, but I think with this record, like Cody said, we just came back. We came back to the studio like really late, and we're like, let's write a riff. They had a riff. I had a song done in an hour, and I'm just like, I've never seen anything like that.
Isn't it amazing how it just doesn't exist an hour ago, and then it just comes out of nowhere?
Yeah, and it's one of my favorites. So
yeah, Welcome to the Jungle was written in like an hour or two.
Really?
So like,
wow.
Yep. And I have 2 more questions for you. We'll get the hardest question out of the way, and I want you both to elaborate on this.
Okay.
How do you know when a song is done?
See, that's what like it's almost like an unwritten thing. You're just like, this is it. Well, what do you mean by done? Well,
I get answers for it all the time. I get like the cliche artistic answer, like, oh, it's only been abandoned, or it's never done, or like I get a question like, when it's getting mixed and mastered and it's on an album.
Yeah, I mean that's probably it. I'm like notorious for just wanting to keep adding things. So I'm one of those people that always feels like a song is never really done because I'll like go listen to. I mean, Pressure feels pretty good to me, but like Dead Weight and Blueprints, like I'll go back and listen and be like, I would have done this there. So in some ways the song is never done, but I mean, the mix master always is the is the icing on top of the cake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah.
It's always hard to leave stuff out too, because you never know if like a
Mhm.
song you leave out will be on like a B side and just be the biggest hit you guys ever had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel
Yep.
that.
And the final question I wanted to ask you is, one thing I do admire about you guys as a band is that you have such dedicated fan bases. Just at Sonic Temple, I saw dozens of Wage War shirts,
Yeah.
and just it's a sold out show here tonight. The line is, I don't know if you saw the line, but it's around the block. When you
Really?
hear on how your music touches somebody's hearts and impacts them in a significant way, does that change your perspective on who you are as an artist?
Absolutely. I think like a lot of people come forward with different stories from different backgrounds, be like, hey, this song helped me through this, And I think that comes from us writing, like what Cody said earlier, it was just what we're feeling that day, or the mood we're in, or a story that someone went through that we personally know, or something we're going through. I think that relates to a lot of people, so I think that's why people like to come out to the shows, and sing their hearts out and let kind of that stuff go. It's for me, that's why I went to shows to my favorite bands. It was like therapy, just like shouting my favorite lyrics and having fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we view our band as like a self-help book by any means. Like we, like Britton says, like we write what we're feeling, and we write about situations that are dear to us, and just in the society that we live in, a lot of it is stuff that is very relational, and people can really like dive into based off what they're going through. Like we have songs on our records, a lot of them do deal with like mental health and just like self-betterment, and that's something that's just so prevalent these days. It's insane. So yeah, I mean, it definitely like it adds worth because we spend a lot of time away from home, and we're very thankful to do what we do, but it does come with a cost, and to know that we're out here doing something, and like being able to talk to we've been doing this VIP thing where we get to talk to everybody, and just to hear the stories and get the hugs from people that are just like they were in such a dark place, and at some point like one of our songs like really helped them like get out of something. Is like that's probably the most important thing to me about being in this band, is that we can be that for people, and it just, like I said, it just adds worth to what we do for us, because we have a great time playing shows, but it is taxing, but
And it's a responsibility.
it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
It is, and it's something you got to be ready for if you're going to be a band like we are that writes like very from the heart. Because some bands just get out there and they do their party songs or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But all of our lyrics are from right here, and you just got to be ready for that if that's the kind of music you're going to do. So
Yeah.
we're very thankful for it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And just before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. It's going to be
Thank
a
you.
killer show. Is there just anything else you would like to promote? This will be uploaded by midnight, so if it's a tour that hasn't been announced
Yeah.
yet, don't say it here.
No, I don't think there's anything we're announcing yet, but yeah, come out to the Pressure Tour. It's been fun. Yeah.
Tickets at wagewarband.com.
Absolutely.
They're selling out pretty quick, and low tickets in a lot of places. So we'd love to see you.
See you there.
There you go. Thank you guys so much. Everybody, we are here with Wage War Pressure out on Fearless. Be sure to pick that up if you haven't already. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We'll see you next time.